you need to be building yourself up mentally, physically, and spiritually all the time, whether you are 7 or 75, because the moment that you peak is the moment you start to die. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the JS Show. This is episode 12. 12 isn't a high number, but man, I can't believe we're at 12 already. It's crazy. To be honest, I've said it before. I mean, this isn't, didn't used to be, and definitely wasn't my norm over a year ago. It wasn't even my norm a year ago. I still was so uncomfortable on camera and that sort of thing. And now I'm to the point where I don't know if it's comfort, because I've gotten to where the only reason I wasn't comfortable on camera is because I was worried about what people would think of me. And, I guess it comes with the whole package of being an entrepreneur and doing YouTube stuff. You're going to have haters no matter what you do. And once I wrap my mind around that, I really don't care. It's like literally just before I started filming this episode, one of my shorts on YouTube, because I was talking about tools in our tool belt, and somebody commented. It's the second one on it. One person commented, "Speaking of tools, ... If you get it, well, ask your millennial or younger. They'll let you know what a tool is." But then somebody else just commented one word, tool. And I was like, man, but it is what it is. It's funny. Just because I know where I'm headed, and I know where people that think like that are headed, so... But yeah, I really don't have any big announcements to talk about. Just keep your eyes peeled for, other videos besides podcasts coming out. I've got a lot that I'm working on that front, and just trying to, I have a lot of stuff going. Nothing is finished yet, and so it's just... They're all in progress, so keep an eye out for them because they are coming. And plus, I'm going to start to do some more financial and business stuff on the podcast too. I don't want it to be just one-dimensional in motivation stuff. So I'll do some of that on here too. It'll be more of a long, drawn-out discussion instead of this more compact version. Man, I'm going to give a little shout out here to True Lean Nutrition. This is by somebody I watch, Bedros Cooley, and he has his own nutrition company, and they do like protein shakes. This stuff is actually a water adder. It has all these vitamins in it. This isn't a paid ad or anything. It's just I've had it for... This is my third day having it, and I can already tell a difference in it. But what it does is it adds vitamins that you don't normally get in a multivitamin. Because when I got it, I wanted to look and compare it to the multivitamin that I already take. And the majority of the stuff that's in this drink is not in the multivitamin. And I can tell a difference because the diet that I'm on right now, I'm so low calorie that I find myself dragging throughout the day. So when I get home and I need to work out, I'm just dead. So I drink this while I'm working out, and I find that I actually have a lot more energy afterwards. Doesn't have any caffeine or anything like that. It's just the vitamins in it are so good for you, and there's so much of it that it gives you more energy. But like I said, no paid ad. If you're interested, go check out True Lean Nutrition. Pretty awesome. But I'm going to take one more drink here. This one's watermelon splash, by the way, if you're interested. Pretty good. All right. So today I'm going to give you 5 reasons that you should never peak in life. Very first reason that you can never peak throughout life is because when you peak, you put a cap on the things that you can accomplish and achieve throughout your life. And to go into that a little bit more depth, this can apply to a whole bunch of different things. I have a few examples that are going to be a common theme throughout this because I feel like they're the essential ones to life that most people deal with. So those are the ones I'm going to hit on. But the very first one that you put a cap on is the amount of money you can make. Money is not everything. Money is not what you should live for. But money is a tool to accomplishing great things. And it's a tool to help you be able to reach out to more people, to be able to expand on what you are already doing. There's a lot of stuff that you can do without money, like volunteering at a food pantry. But guess what? If you have money, you can go have your own stinking food pantry because money is a tool. I feel like that's a big misconception of a lot of entrepreneurs, people wanting financial freedom, is they think that it's all about the money. And there's a few that it is. That's all they care about. Money, 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 money. But those are the people that actually are never happy. But people that have true happiness, I guarantee you, if you look at their bank account, it's a good amount, especially in the entrepreneur world. But money is a tool to achieving the things that you want. It helps you achieve them bigger, better, and faster. So yeah, when you peak throughout life, or when you hit your one peak in life, you put a cap on how much money you can make. Another thing that you put a cap on is your health. I feel like a hypocrite talking about it because I'm not far enough along in my journey to where I feel like I can give you good, solid feedback on it, but it makes sense because I've come far enough that I feel like I could talk about it. But when you peak, you put a cap on your health, on what you can accomplish through your health. Because, so, take for instance, somebody decides they want to lose 30 pounds, and that's their big goal, big health goal, and they hit that 30 pounds. Well, I forget the statistic, but when people set a goal to lose a good amount of weight, when they lose that weight, it's a high percentage of them high percentage of them actually end up gaining the weight back and then some. And so it's good to have goals, but don't stop setting those goals. Don't stop peaking. Your life, when you look at it, it should be like this in any aspect. It should go up. You hit one of your goals, so that's a peak. You might come down a little bit, but the goal is to peak up. Maybe you flatten out a little bit, then you come up, peak again, and you just keep going up and having all these peaks, but you don't stop at any of those peaks. Another thing that you put a cap on is the relationships that you have with your friends and family. It's hard for me to say because I don't have any experience as a parent, but if you're one of those parents who thinks when your children turn 18 that they're out of the house, done, whatever, you think your job is done, well, I am sorry to break it to you, but when your children turn 18, your job has just begun. Because raising a child to become an adult is one thing, but teaching a young adult to become a full functioning adult is a whole nother ball game. And yes, I am a young adult, still learning to become a young adult, but it's completely different. If I didn't have the relationship with like my mom that I do, I don't know where it would be. However you want to take it, don't put a cap on the relationship that you can have with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with aunts, uncles, whatever. Don't put a cap on the level of relationship you can have with them. And then something else, when you peak, it puts a cap on the amount of people you can help. I kind of touched on it throughout. Really, all of those come together: money, health, and your relationships. Those all three tie into helping others. So when you put a cap on any one of those, you're putting a cap on the amount of people you can help, and just the people you can help in general. Second reason you should never stop peaking, because when you peak, everything that you have built and worked on up to this point begins to atrophy. And if you don't know what atrophy means, it means it starts to deteriorate, to break down, to essentially just disappear. And again, it's those same main things. When you peak at whatever it is, whether it's your career, your business, your side hustle, your investing, whatever, when you peak in any of those, as soon as you peak, that stuff begins to atrophy because you're no longer working on it. You're no longer becoming better. You're not finding ways to make more money, to be smarter with your money, to save money. And so when you peak, it begins to deteriorate. Same thing with your health. And the old saying goes, you either use it or you lose it. Diet, with exercise, with muscle, with any of that. When you peak and you stop improving, you stop working, you literally start to atrophy. Your muscles will disappear. I have experienced it. Trust me. When you stop any of that, it disappears. And your health is probably besides your health, is one of the greatest assets that you have. Because guess what? You only have one life. And if you throw your health away, you're wasting away your life. And then again, when you peak, your relationship with your family begin to atrophy. Just like in the previous example with your children, or we'll use your spouse on this one. If you stop falling in love with your spouse every day, that relationship slowly starts to atrophy. If you stop doing spontaneous gestures, or just telling your wife or your husband that they look good today, that sort of thing, your relationship with them becomes mundane. It becomes just plain. It becomes boring. And nobody wants a boring marriage, boring relationship. I know I don't. It's easy to say as an unmarried male, but I can tell you, I have made the decision over and over again that whoever I end up marrying, they are never going to doubt that A, I love them, that I trust them, that I am appreciative of them, that I enjoy their company. They're never going to doubt any of that because I'm never going to peak in our relationship. And that is the thing. When you peak in your relationship, you begin to atrophy. That relationships begins to atrophy. And with the same as muscles, it can atrophy to nothing. The third reason you should never stop peaking is because when you peak, your legacy dies with you. What that means is if you peak, say you peak at 45 or 50, is like if you look back at your life at 75 and you're like, man, 50 to 55 was the peak of my life. Guess what? When you die, your kids, your grandkids, it's just going to be, man, my grandpa, his 50 to 55 was so good. But when you peak in life and you just stop, your legacy just dies with you. What that means is when you die, your legacy doesn't get passed on to your generations after you. it just becomes a memory. You're the only thing that determines whether your legacy gets passed on or whether it dies with you. You get to determine whether what you've built will pass on to generations to come or if it dies with you. And so if you peak, it dies with you. But if you never stop peaking, if you keep improving, your legacy will continue on years and years past your time on this earth. The fourth reason you should never stop peaking is because when you peak, you become stagnant and you lose your sense of purpose. And I think that's pretty straightforward. When you peak, you begin to die on the inside. You become more of a stagnant person. You become part of that recliner that you sit in every night or whatever. There's a good reference that I've heard multiple times about sharks. Sharks are always on the move. No matter what, they are always moving. Because what happens is when a shark stops moving or goes backwards, it dies. I don't know how, but a shark must always keep moving forward. And so you have to keep that shark mindset. The fifth and final reason you should never stop peaking is that when you peak, you have to come down off the peak. Coming down from that peak can be very difficult. So you think about mountain climbers. They have the way up perfectly planned. But you usually, as far as I know, mountain climbers don't have the way down planned. What happens is that leaves them prone to more obstacles. And another thing is, when you're coming down off a peak, you can't see a landslide happening above you. And same is true for life. If you are coming down off a peak, you may not see the landslide that is coming after you. And the last thing is, when you peak, you often fall into a depression because it goes back to the number 4. You've lost a sense of purpose. So I know for me, when I don't have a sense of purpose, that would make me so depressed. With all that being said, here's what you need to know. You need to grow every day. If you are not growing, you are dying. It's time to take your life off of cruise control. Put the throttle to the floor and never let up. You have so many great things to accomplish. Push towards them, fight for them, never peak. Man, that one hits deep to me because it's something we all struggle with. In my short journey, I've struggled with it a lot because I think I'm doing good, and I start to let off the gas a little bit, and no, you can't do that. You can't. You got to keep that shark mentality, shark mindset. Keep moving forward. But that is all I have for you guys today on the JS Show, episode 12. Thank you guys for watching. Never stop peaking. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.